Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hi and welcome to Communication in Crisis. My name's Kylie Warry, author, speaker and trainer. Now we've covered a few episodes now, and today we're talking about how to manage and move forward through a crisis. This is at the stage where you've been wounded, something's gone wrong, and you're now wanting to recover and deal with that trauma in a healthy way. Today we're focusing on the two communication styles, the playful and the perfectionist communication styles. These two are opposites, and it's important that we contrast their different responses so you can see with maximum value how different they are. Now, you might relate to one of these two styles, but you also might be one of these two styles. So either way, you'll get a lot of value from today. So you've been through a crisis. Now, a crisis can feel somewhat like a storm. There can be chaos, there can be unpredictability, and we just don't know what to do. The best thing you can do through a storm is to stay calm. However, that's often not our natural human response. We tend to get lost in the chaos and either run away or dive for cover, which sometimes is not the best thing for us to do in a storm. So a storm can take on many different stages in terms of a communication crisis. You might be going through a work crisis. Maybe there's redundancies or your job's on the line. Maybe you've got a personal crisis happening. You might be having some issues in a personal relationship. Maybe there's a health crisis or a financial crisis. There's so many things that can go wrong. Your life can feel perfect one moment, and in a split second, you can be caught up in a crisis. So it's really key that you know what to do to get through that crisis in the most effective way possible. Now we talk about the cycle of offence. This is where I don't want you guys to stay. You need to get out of this cycle because this is one of the most unhealthy cycles you can be in. So many things can cause you to be in this cycle. For example, you might be in that season of your life where you're managing a unhealthy or aging parent. Say, for example, they need your help to care for them. So you might be managing a full-time job, you might even have a family of your own, and then you might be coming home to look after a parent that needs you. Your sanctuary, the place that you used to call home, the place that you used to go to relax, no longer exists. Wherever you look, there's stress and there's tension. Now, if you're not aware of this, if you don't know what to do to help yourself cope through this time, then you'll be setting yourself up for a very big communication crisis, one that can affect all areas of your life. And you don't want to get stuck in this trap of having a crisis happen and then get caught up in this negative spiral that ends up with you being full of resentment and stuck there. What we want to do is go through a much healthier cycle. I call this the courageous communication cycle. And we're talking about what to do after there's been a crisis, you've been affected by it in a negative way, and we're now looking at treatment. We talked about how to treat the wound for the powerful and the patient communicator last time, and today we're talking about the playful and the perfectionist, two very different styles of communicator. Now, in the middle of a crisis, when it's all hitting the fan and you don't know what on earth is going on, sometimes you don't even know what way is up, one of the biggest gifts that anyone can give you is understanding. Someone who can step in, depersonalize the whole situation, and just look at it from the perspective of what's actually happening here and what can I do to contribute or to support during this time. It takes a very mature, very wise, very enlightened person to be able to do that. And my goal from this series is to arm you with the tools so that you can not only do that for yourself in a crisis, but that you can do that for others as well. You see, crisis is probably one of the most guaranteed parts of our life. All we can do, we can't stop it from happening, but we can control our responses to it, and we can get through that crisis more effectively by doing things that help us, things that don't hold us back or don't add to the crisis. So what the aim of this series is to give you the tools so you can actually be that person, be the gift of understanding in that crisis to help people get through and get out the other side with learning and wisdom, and ideally stronger than before. We're talking about this roadmap to better communication. This roadmap is simple, and the reason that I've made it so simply is because, first of all, I like simple. I think simple is the best way to do things, and especially in a crisis. The last thing we need is some big, complicated model that you don't even know where to start. This is very simple 3 steps. First thing to do, know yourself. What we've been talking about is your communication DNA style, and hopefully as you've been going along through the episodes and as we continue through this series, you'll learn what are your strengths, what value do you bring, what are your typical responses in a crisis, and what can you do about that. But the next step's just as important. How do you understand other people? Because they've got a style that's most probably different to yours. You might even be dealing with a communicator that has the same DNA style as you, but that doesn't mean they respond in a crisis in the same way. You see, they have their own personality, they have their own baggage, their own experience, and they will respond to things in a very different way from you. So even though you might be the same as someone else, your responses will still be different. So it's critical that we understand others so that we're contributing in a positive way when we're in a crisis. The final step, step 3, is being able to communicate with intention. Now, in a crisis, we can tend to just spit out words because we're not really thinking clearly. We've gone into survival mode. Our reptilian brain is the one that's in control, and we often don't think logically through things. But isn't it funny to think that when we're in a crisis, that's actually when we need to be as logical as we can be? That's when we need to be calm and still and look at our options and pick the best one. But we can actually be completely in chaos and not know what to do. So communicating with intention is being able to look at the situation and be able to go, what is the best thing for me to do here to help out? What can I do to help this person get through the crisis? What can I do for myself to make sure that I cope? Now, intentional communication from my perspective is communicating with care and with purpose. So it's thinking about what you want to say before you say it. It's thinking about the big picture and going, if I contribute in this way, will it help or will it hinder? And we need to know what we're doing so that we're actually helping other people get through that crisis. Now, our communication DNA is where it all starts, and this is the basis for that first part of the roadmap, understanding yourself. Now, we've talked about this quite a few times now, so you might be leaning towards 1 or 2 of the styles that you think you relate to, and you might be thinking about people in your world that have the other communication DNA styles. You might notice that in relationship that you tend to be with your opposite. So if you're a powerful communicator, you tend to be with a patient communicator. If you're a playful communicator, you tend to be with a perfectionist. Now, the actual saying of opposites attracting is very, very true. We are attracted to our opposite because we look at them and go, wow, they're so different from us. And for the beginning, that works out really well. Then life starts to happen, we start to relax into things, crises come along, and before we know it, we're looking at our opposite going, you are driving me crazy. What we've got to do is go back to that beginning, know the person's strengths, know what they bring to the relationship, and see how they complement us. Because being with our opposites is actually a very strengthening thing to be. So thinking about your communication DNA. Are you a powerful communicator? Do you like to get things done, to achieve results? Or are you a playful communicator? You like to talk, to relate, to be noticed, for people to like you. Maybe you're a patient communicator who's more of a supporter, an observer. You're a great listener and you bring that harmony to the environment that you're in. Or maybe you're a perfectionist who loves detail and loves to get things right, and you urge all of us on to get better and better at making that things as high a quality as they can be. You put systems and procedures in place so that we can actually get things done and repeat things in a way that means that we've got high quality. I wonder which one you relate to. And then when you think about yourself, think about the key people in your world. How are they different from you? Or how are they the same? Now, this information is key too if you're a parent. Thinking about your own children's communication DNA can make it so much easier to relate to them, especially during the adolescent years when they're pulling away from you. When you know what their strengths are and can communicate to their needs, it makes that time so much easier. So today we're focusing on the playful communicator. Now, these guys are outgoing and they're similar to the powerful communicator because they're outgoing and they're adventuresome. But that's where the differences begin. The playful communicator are about 30% of the population, and they're the talkers, they're the storytellers, they're fun, they love to tell jokes. They motivate us all into action. The funny thing is that they then often don't follow through with the action, but they're great at getting all of us going. So if you're expecting a playful communicator to finish, you may be disappointed because they're great at starting, not necessarily finishing. These guys are attracted to roles like business development, marketing, advertising, sales, anything where they are at the center of attention and can get all of that focus on them. They love to talk, love to meet with people. The idea of a sales call is exciting because it's an opportunity for a conversation. So they're very, very different from the patient and the perfectionist communicator, who are much more reserved. Now, remembering our famous example of the playful communicator, Ellen DeGeneres, you'll observe that with this communication style, they're talkative, they're loud, and they're funny. They want recognition. Notice me, see me, like me, be my friend. They measure their social status and importance by the number of friends they have. So things like Facebook and social media feed right into their need for fitting in and having as many friends as possible. They need a fun, interesting, and friendly.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.